I must warn you, the true events I am about to share with you are not for the faint of heart. It was a dark and stormy night when I found myself embarking on a late-night walk that would forever change my life. I had always enjoyed the solace and tranquility of the night, finding a sense of peace as I wandered through the dimly lit streets. It was an escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. On this particular night, however, there was an eerie energy in the air, which made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. As I walked, the rain poured down, cloaking the entire town in a watery veil. The sound of each raindrop hitting the pavement was like a symphony of uncertainty. The streetlights flickered in the distance, casting haunting shadows that danced ominously around me. Feeling a shiver run down my spine, I continued my journey with caution. Yet, an inexplicable force seemed to be pulling me deeper into the darkness, urging me to explore the unknown. I tried to suppress the feeling but found myself venturing further away from the safety of my neighborhood. As I walked by an old cemetery, the wind picked up, causing the trees to sway ominously. Under the pale moonlight, the gravestones appeared distorted and twisted, as if they carried the weight of 1,000 restless souls. A sense of unease washed over me, but curiosity got the better of me, compelling me to enter through the rusted iron gate. The graveyard seemed deserted, with not a single soul in sight. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, making it difficult to catch my breath. Each step I took seemed to amplify the creaking and cracking of the decaying tombstones underfoot. Suddenly, a chilling whisper broke the silence, creeping into my ear like an icy breath. The disembodied voice seemed to be calling my name, whispering secrets from beyond the grave. A cold sweat dripped down my forehead, paralyzing me with fear. I tried to scream, but my voice was drowned out by the symphony of winds and rain. Slowly, the mist started to rise from the ground, taking shape and form as it enveloped me. Figures emerged from the mist, bearing the faces of those who had long since departed. They reached out with skeletal fingers, their empty eye sockets piercing my soul. I was trapped in a nightmarish purgatory, plagued by the tormented spirits of the dead. Summoning every ounce of courage within me, I broke free from the grip and ran as fast as my trembling legs would carry me. The rain beat down mercilessly upon my face, washing away the ghostly touch of the apparitions. Somehow, I managed to find my way back to the safety of my neighborhood, gasping for air and collapsing onto the wet pavement. From that night on, I always felt an unsettling presence lurking in the shadows whenever I walked at night. The memory of that harrowing experience haunted me, a grim reminder of the terrors that lie beyond our realm. Now, I warn others to tread carefully during their own late-night walks, for they too may encounter the eerie and inexplicable. Late at night, the air was chilly and still. I decided to take a leisurely walk through the dimly lit streets, craving some alone time after a long day. As I walked beneath the flickering streetlights, a sense of unease crept over me. The usual sounds of the city were muted, leaving an eerie silence in their wake. A distant rustling in the bushes made my heart skip a beat. I quickened my pace, attributing the noise to a stray animal. But then, I heard footsteps echoing behind me. Glancing over my shoulder, I caught a glimpse of a shadowy figure in the darkness. My mind raced with thoughts of potential danger, and I began to sweat despite the cold. I continued to walk, trying to shake off my paranoia, when I noticed the figure was getting closer. Panic surged through me, and I broke into a jog, my heart pounding in my chest. The footsteps behind me matched my pace, growing louder and more menacing. Every instinct in me screamed to run, but a part of me hesitated, not wanting to reveal my fear to this unknown pursuer. I turned a corner, hoping to lose my pursuer in the maze of alleyways. My breathing was heavy, and my legs burned as I pushed myself to keep moving. Glancing back again, I was met with a chilling sight. The figure was still behind me, their face hidden beneath the hood. I couldn't see their expression, but their intent was clear. They were chasing me. I stumbled forward, my fear now consuming me. I had to find help, but the streets were deserted, and I felt utterly alone. With a burst of energy, I sprinted toward a nearby gas station, praying that someone would be there. As I reached the entrance, I slammed my hand against the glass door, and to my immense relief, the door swung open. Gasping for breath, I stumbled inside and frantically explained the situation to the attendant. They called the police, who arrived quickly. But when they searched the area, there was no sign of the mysterious figure. The officers reassured me, suggesting it might have been a prank or my imagination running wild. Even though the incident was brushed off, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had narrowly escaped something truly sinister that night. I'll never forget the adrenaline-fueled fear of that late-night walk, or the chilling sensation of being pursued by an unknown presence in the shadows. Late one night, as the moon hung low in the sky, I decided to take a solitary stroll through the deserted streets of my quiet town. The air was chilly and a light fog seemed to creep around every corner, giving the familiar streets an eerie twist. As I walked, the soft crunch of fallen leaves underfoot was the only sound that accompanied me. I found myself drawn to a narrow alleyway that I had never noticed before. It was dimly lit by a flickering street lamp, casting long shadows that seemed to dance along the walls. Despite the unsettling atmosphere, I pressed on, curiosity getting the better of me. As I ventured deeper into the alley, an unsettling feeling of being watched overcame me. I glanced around, but the alley was empty. I quickened my pace, hoping to escape the growing unease. Suddenly, a faint whisper reached my ears, a mere rustle in the wind, but it sent shivers down my spine. My heart raced as I turned around, convinced that someone, or something, was following me. But again, there was nothing there. I tried to reassure myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but the feeling of being watched persisted. The fog thickened, making it hard to see more than a few feet ahead. Panic started to claw at me, and I quickened my steps once more. That's when I heard it, a soft, slow footstep echoing mine. I spun around, my breath catching in my throat, but all I saw was the swirling mist. My steps turned into a frantic run, my heart pounding so loudly that I was sure it would give me away to whatever unseen presence lurked behind me. The footsteps behind me quickened as well, matching my pace with an unsettling precision. I burst out of the alley, gasping for breath and struggling to comprehend what was happening. The fog seemed to dissipate as I entered the more well-lit main street, and the footsteps ceased. My eyes darted around, but there was no sign of anyone, or anything. Trembling, I made my way back home, my thoughts a jumble of fear and confusion. To this day, I'm not sure what I encountered during that late-night walk, but the memory of the unseen presence and those echoing footsteps still haunts my dreams. Late one night, as the moon hung low in the sky, I found myself wandering down a dimly lit, deserted street. The air was unusually cold, sending shivers down my spine. Every footstep echoed eerily, as if someone else was walking right behind me. I told myself it was just my imagination playing tricks, but my heart raced nonetheless. As I walked on, I noticed a flickering streetlight up ahead. Its feeble glow seemed to cast elongated shadows that danced menacingly on the pavement. I quickened my pace, wanting to put distance between myself and that eerie light. Just then, I heard a faint whisper carried by the wind. It was unintelligible, yet the chilling tones sent shivers through my body. A rustling noise erupted from a nearby alleyway, causing me to stop dead in my tracks. My eyes strained to pierce the darkness, but all I could make out were vague shapes and shifting shadows. My breaths turned shallow, and I could feel my heart pounding against my ribcage. Feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, I decided to take a different route, hoping to find a busier street. But the more I walked, the more it felt like I was being led deeper into a labyrinth of uncertainty. The night seemed to stretch endlessly, as if time itself had slowed down. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind swept past me, carrying with it the unmistakable scent of decay. My stomach churned as I fought back a wave of nausea. My mind was racing, trying to come up with rational explanations for the horrors that seemed to be unfolding around me. Then, as if on cue, the distant sound of footsteps reached my ears. I turned, only to find an empty street behind me. Yet, the footsteps grew louder and closer, echoing in a haunting rhythm. Panic surged within me, and I began to run, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The footsteps pursued me relentlessly, their cadence unbroken. Finally, I burst out onto a more well-lit street, surrounded by the comforting glow of storefronts. The footsteps vanished, leaving behind an unsettling silence. I leaned against a wall, struggling to catch my breath and make sense of the nightmarish experience. To this day, I can't explain what I encountered on that late-night walk. Was it the product of an overactive imagination or something more sinister? All I know is that the memory of those chilling footsteps and the malevolent shadows still haunts my dreams, a constant reminder that sometimes, the darkness holds secrets too terrifying to comprehend. If you enjoy listening to scary horror content just like this, then hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you are updated on when I post a new video.